I'm the one to watch because duh, I'm fun. I keep everybody entertained. I'm going to win. There's nobody like me.
I am trying to decompress since being out of the house. I have not really felt like I am back into the real world yet. I am taking it pretty slowly. Um, think I'm going to have some separation anxiety because I really love my house guests and I'm just so used to being with them. But sometimes I wake up still thinking about the game. I will tell you, it still is taking me some use to getting my mask. Like now I'm back to when COVID first hit, like going in somewhere saying, oh, where's my mask? Like, I have to get used to wearing my mask because in the house we didn't have to wear our mask unless we, when we met Julie and stuff like that. But there was no mask. Now it's a mask for everything, and I have to get back reacclimated into using a mask again. So the interesting thing is I was vaccinated because I'm in healthcare. I was vaccinated like December of 2020, and then I was fully vaccinated in January. Right before I was leaving to come to the show, I was able to get my son vaccinated because he was 13 at the time. And so he was able to get his first vaccine. And I was very happy about that. But go back to April, him and I both tested positive for COVID, me even after having the vaccine, him prior to getting the vaccine. I was freaking out about it a little bit just because just because it's COVID, but I actually had a very mild case and he had a very mild case too. So I say all that to say that in April, we actually were COVID positive. So me leaving in June, July to come into the house, my anxiety level as far as COVID in him and myself goes was really at a low because we had already been through it. I felt like we already had the antibodies. I had gotten him vaccinated. So although I was freaking out a little bit about us having COVID in April, I felt better about us having gone through it by the time I got ready to leave because I felt like he can't get it again. So had he not contracted it before I left, I would have been a nervous wreck, like, oh my God, is he going to get it? But knowing that he already had it and he had the antibodies for it, it actually made my stay in the Big Brother house a little bit easier. The biggest surprise for me was being fan favorite. Honestly, I cannot even hide my surprise there. I was so shocked that it was me. I just definitely thought it was Derek X, and I actually thought it was Derek F too. I don't know why. He walked around the house like he ran it, so I was like, maybe he knows something I don't know. Um, I I'm always like, pushing myself to the back for things like, no, it's not me, it's not me. So I was definitely surprised that America was so fond of me. It just warms my heart because you never know how you're being perceived in the house. And I am such an outspoken person, and I just consider myself to be like all over the place sometimes. So if there were people in America who identified with me and loved me, it just really made me appreciate the fact that I was myself and people loved that. I was not expecting it.
So I created what has been referred to as the master plan.
What? They took you out! Oh my God!
Tiff, I love it!
You're so good.
Tiff, you did the duos?
The duos?
Hey, we really were chess pieces. She moved us like chess pieces.
If you're with a duo and you guys wanted to come after us or somebody need to go after, so I was always supposed to sit on the block next to Claire. Kai was supposed to sit on the block next to you and X, you and Chada.
Dang, Tiff, if they brought you to the end, you would have won.
My vote.
It's interesting. In the house, I was not aware that people weren't giving me credit for the master plan. Everyone knows I came up with the master plan. That would have been a running joke if someone would have said to me, I did not create the master plan, because I specifically and intentionally went around to everyone, every single person. And before I even laid out the master plan or the plan that I had in place or that I was thinking of at the time, my question was, do you have a plan to get the 6 to 6? And everyone's answer was no. And if they would have told me they had a plan, then I wanted to hear it and let's see what they had come up with. And then I was going to share what I had. come up with. But everyone's answer was no. And so then from that point, I was like, well, here is an idea that I've come up with. And everyone was like, okay, I see the direction you're going. I fully understand what this plan is. It's thoroughly laid out. You thought it through. I like it. Now we have a plan. Let's move with it. The only time, the first time that I was made aware of the fact that Derek F considered himself as having come up with the original master plan and just allowed me to think that I had done something was it was way after we had made it down to 6. And he says something like, you know, we just let Tiffany believe whatever she believes. And, you know, like you thought you came up with the master plan. X and I had already come up with a plan. And at that time, I am in jeopardy of going home. And so I'm like, cool, if you want to take responsibility and for coming up with this plan and you want to snatch it from me, good. That means I'm not a threat. But everyone knows who created the master plan. America knows, I know, the House knows. There is nothing anyone can say to discredit me. So there is nothing for me to argue with that. I don't know how anyone would trust anyone else going into that house to not try to do the master plan. Even if no one attempts the master plan, people are going to think someone is attempting the master plan. If I was going on, it would be something that I would try to do just because it's feasible. You can do it, but if they mess it up, they mess it up. Hey, if that's not my problem, I don't have anything to do with who messes up the plan and who perfects the plan. So maybe someone will come in and add something else to it, and who knows? But I was really thinking about it in the house, like, wow, I might have really broken Big Brother. Like, who is going to trust anyone else? Because even if you're in an alliance with 6 people and you have another partner, I'm looking at my partner like, are you in an alliance with another 6? Are you in an alliance? Am I your duo? I would always be concerned that I am someone's duo on the wrong side. So who knows? You know, I felt that I was going to be a target by week 4 and week 5. I started to feel that I was going to be at the bottom of the 6. Not so much as because I was a woman or because I was a Black woman, but because of the game that I was playing. Kylan asked in his week 6 HOH who had the greatest influence in the house, and he asked those questions individually to the other house guests who were possible nominees, and a lot of them said my name. So I think that they recognized that I had a lot of influence over the house and that I had this master plan under my belt. I had a great social game. So I think I was just going to be a target regardless. It did bother me, and I know everyone saw that, so that's not something I can push to the side or act like it wasn't obvious. It did bother me that I was going to be the first to go home when I felt like I had done a lot to help get us there. But I do know that that's the name of the game. The person that does the most is the biggest threat, and so they have to go home. But I could not understand why Xavier wasn't looked at as strongly as I was being looked at. It is unfortunate that the 2 women, and I am going to speak for myself and include Hannah Chada affectionately, in this, because we did a lot to help get the alliance further, and then we were the first to be cut. From a game level, I completely understand it. It is a big game move. Who wants to take the best to the end? However, in this season, it was very much known and expressed that they wanted, we wanted to see the best in the end because of everything that we had gone through to get us there and what was at stake. The season of holding and crowning the first African American winner. Of course, we wanted the best to be at the end. So I couldn't understand why 2 of the best were being cut. It did not make me feel good. It does kind of make you look at Black America as a whole. Black women always try our best, whether our best is what someone else considers what they need or not. But, we support our men in the best way that we know, and we try. And that's not all of us, and that's not everyone. But, in this case, you have the Black women supporting the Black men, and then, it's like, well, when they get what they need, it's like, well, okay, thanks. And Kai said in his speech, that's not what he was doing. He was said in his nomination speech, I'm not saying thank you for helping us get to this point, but bye. But that was exactly what it felt like. And like I said, from a game move, I totally understand it. But I was so upset that I was leaving because I felt it was more personal than it was game. Because like I said, if you want to see the best at the end, why were Hannah and I cut first? When I cut Claire, I know that the six wanted, and when I say the six, I'm not including everyone in the six, but majority of the six, when I cut Claire, wanted that to be a negative on my resume. Wanted, and this is just my opinion, and they will disagree with me, and I know that, but I'm a very intuitive person. I know what I felt in that house. I know the energy that I felt in that house. I've talked to America every day about my energy. I've said things, and most of the time I have been right. So I don't feel like I'm wrong this time. But when I won that second HOH and I nominated Alyssa and Xavier, I do feel that it rubbed everybody the wrong way. Some part of them wanted to see me fall, not from the spinning disc, but just from whatever power they felt that I had in the house. Me having to consider a replacement nominee after Alyssa won the veto, I know that they somewhere inside, someone was happy that I was going to have to do that to Claire, that I was going to be put in the position to have to do that. And it really broke my heart. And I did it anyway. And I'm sure that they will say, no, that's not what we wanted. Whatever. I feel differently. When I did have to nominate Claire, and I had a as much of a transparent conversation with her as I could, it actually worked in my benefit and in my relationship with Claire, and probably with the rest of the jury, which I know many people were hoping that wouldn't go that way. So then that kind of, instead of it dropping my threat level down, it raised my threat level up even higher after Claire still respected me after we had that conversation. So there were a lot of factors that went into why I should go first, but it still felt very personal. Kyland and I are really good friends. Of course, we've got a flirt mance in the house. There is very limited opportunities for any other human interaction in the house besides the people that you are there with. And you're there so long with somebody. I just naturally I flirt. It's fun to do. Kai is a really great guy, but we are friends. I'm not going to lie. We all know Kylan is gorgeous. If anyone can say that Kylan is a good looking guy, I think they just don't want to admit that. But he is definitely very nice to look at. And he was nice to cuddle with too.
Families argue, fuss, fight, love, but they still love each other in the end.
Yes. Everyone, and even myself, like we've all, honestly, every single one of us in the six and outside of the six, but I know your question is relative to the six. We have all apologized to each other because even though maybe America feels that some apologies need to be made on one side, just on a personal level, there are some things that I may have said or some things that I didn't do that I felt that I should have done that I wanted to apologize for. But to answer the question, yes, apologies have been made.
I do want to say this. I came in this house, forgetting that there's cameras. And a lot of people know that I say what I want and I have no filter.
Derek F. has reached out to me personally to apologize to me. Xavier has in detail expressed any, an apology, even Kylan and myself as well. I've apologized for some things that I said or some things I didn't do that I felt that I would have liked to have done and to support in the house. I am a super fan of this show. I wanted to watch it right away when I was in the house. And then it's a little different for me. I one of America's favorite players. So for me, I definitely want to watch it back because I want to see what America saw. Even though it was me and I lived it, there's so many hours that you are in this house, so many things. I watch little clips and I'm like, oh, I said that. Oh, I did that. You almost forget the things that you've done because things happen so very quickly. Of course, I wanted to watch it. I didn't know if everyone else would want to watch it. And some people were a little apprehensive. I didn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable watching it. And so, we were all very conscious of how other people would feel having to watch. But we've discussed a lot of things in detail, tried to say, just to give you a disclaimer. Hey, I probably said some things and did some things that you may not like watching it back. Don't be mad at me. But we're still not into a lot of the chaos or controversy yet. It's still very much, we're all pretty much still friends in the episodes that we're watching. So we'll see as we go on how everyone really feels and what it will be. I think it was important for us to do this, to try to watch it together. And it's just fortunate that we are able to still be together and still build our relationships. Gosh, of course it's Janelle, it's Dan Giesling, it's Derek, it's Vanessa. Yes, I'm a little pissed that Xavier was the only one asked to be on Bold and the Beautiful, but my book is still open if Bold and the Beautiful would have me. I would love to guest star on Bold and the Beautiful. That would be so dope. That was the one thing I was hoping would happen even before I got in the house. So if anyone can make that happen, let Bold and the Beautiful know. I'm waiting on my call.